a different way of telling stories, right? But it's like, you know, and that's fine. It's just because of the way mental stories is very, like, boom, 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 and so then women are judged for telling meandering stories. But I love listening to women tell stories because you go on the whole journey with them, and it's very emotional. Yeah, I didn't ever set out to be a playwright. That was not a goal or particularly a dream of mine. However, I was thinking about the cliche that necessity is the mother of invention, which is a cliche because it's very true. And I think this play came out of my love of theater and my frustration that more pieces, especially that it really embraced the really physical storytelling of like Peter and the Starcatcher, that kind of play where you see it and you're like, this couldn't exist in any other medium except for the theater. Those kinds of plays, of which there are many. This one, the one that I saw, Peter and the Starcatcher, I love, and has so many men and really literally one woman in the play. So when I was looking at it and thinking about what could be my journey to being in such a piece, it felt like this, here's my chance, like the tiniest tip of my pinky finger, you know? And so I was angry about it for a long time, and then I started to think about what I could do to make that more possible for myself. And so I was thinking about stories. Part of what I love about that story or that piece is that it's taking a story that we all know, or that we think we know, or we know some version of, and brings it back to us in a way that feels new or feels full, or feels like it's a story from your childhood that you suddenly see as an adult, and like, instead of it being a sort of a house of cards that when you go back to things you loved as a child, they are sort of small and dead by comparison, that it's something that actually opens up and has more dimensions than you knew as a child, but that you felt. I think it's part of why you're so drawn to those kinds of stories. So Little Women is one of those for me. And I had actually not read the book as a child. I had seen the 1994 film adaptation, which I really loved. And the story lived in my heart and my mind. And so it being a story that has so many, strong is not really even the word, but it has a lot of women in it. And women of all, like, different kinds of personality. It's actually part of the cornerstone of the story, I think, is that a lot of different people can see themselves in these girls, and in Marmee, and in so many of the other characters in the book. So anyhow, I was drawn to it, and because it felt like it had a certain quality of storytelling in it already, and it could lend itself through adaptation to become a beautiful, very physical play, full of physical storytelling and the sort of theatrical magic that I was so drawn to. There's my very long answer, but yeah.